Hello everyone, this is Charlie. So today, for my final project, I'm going to talk about work requirements for welfare, universal pre-K, as well as housing affordability. Alright, so for work requirements for welfare, there are opposing views on whether welfare should have work requirements, and that's basically the opposing viewpoint on this. And according to Heritage and USA Today, work requirements incentivizes Americans to get off the sidelines and back into the job market. And according to them, studies have shown a reduction in work as a result of receiving Medicaid, food stamps, and housing insurance. There are many able-bodied Americans receiving welfare that are not working, and working is the best way to escape poverty. However, according to Vox and American Progress, work requirements only make poor Americans worse off. Health insurance, adequate nutrition, safe and stable housing help people work. And work requirements put these basic necessities at stake. The idea behind work requirements is that poor people are incentivized to stay out of work when given free government help. However, many other factors, including not having the skills to be employable, limited education, don't have the social connections to find job openings, personal challenges, limited English proficiency, and so on. A lot of these factors contribute to them not finding work, instead of them being lazy. Also, work requirements does not help people out of poverty either. Even those who found work weren't earning enough to lift themselves out of poverty, and work requirements cause more people to be in deep poverty. And as Vox put it, work requirements keep basic human necessities hostage in the hopes that it will scare poor people into being less poor. Interesting, huh? My philosophy in helping the poor is to increase opportunity and increase their mental bandwidth. I believe work requirements captures the mind and increases unnecessary burden on the poor without improving their outcomes. They become more vulnerable to negative outcomes considering the amount of burden many poor Americans face. As we read in Evicted, we see a lot of these Americans in low socioeconomic status. They face incredible amount of burden trying to pay their rent and put food on the table. What these people need is not work requirements, which adds more burden. They need education, they need training and opportunities. My policy will get rid of work requirements and give benefits for all Americans below the poverty line, while adding more vocational training institutions. Instead of taking benefits away from Americans who can't find work, it will be beneficial to give more benefits for Americans who do find work. And this is just a thought that I have. I mean, maybe instead of taking things away from Americans who can't find it, why don't we provide benefits, such as cash benefits, for Americans who do find work and try to lift themselves out of poverty? Okay, so the second topic is universal pre-K. And universal pre-K, if you don't know, refers to the movement to use public funding to ensure high-quality preschool, to ensure that high-quality preschool is available to all families. And according to think tanks such as Reason and Manhattan Institute, universal pre-K does not provide the benefits many might believe. In Oklahoma, preschool have failed to improve the reading scores of poor children. With a few exceptions, experts also found that by the time students reach third grade, preschool grads' academic achievement looked no different than that of their less educated peers. Preschool optimists, according to these think tanks, they said that these preschool optimists rely on studies that are small, expensive, carefully devised, difficult to replicate. They choose very high-quality preschools so the results don't have large-scale implications. And so that's what they're arguing. But according to think tanks like Center for American Progress, the economic benefits of preschool are more than $83 billion per year. Preschool also leads to increased earnings, higher school achievement, less retention in grade, a reduced need for special education at a later age, and less crime. These benefits not only applies to kids, but also their parents. When children attend preschool, parents will be able to participate in the job market, in the labor market. Parents will be able to earn more and become less reliant on public assistance. The first several years of life is also the most important for these young children in developing the brain, and sending less fortunate kids to preschool and away from dangerous neighborhoods is crucial for their character development and cognitive growth. According to a news source like NPR, they actually acknowledge the concerns of the opposition. And I quote, "Intriguingly, while attending preschool at age 4 had clear effects on these kids' entire lives, it did not improve their performance on standardized tests. These findings fit into a large body of research that suggests that the true value of preschool is helping little ones to develop non-cognitive skills like emotional and social intelligence, grit, and respect for the rules. Furthermore, we do see an impact on these behavioral outcomes and the likelihood of attending college. It's consistent with this idea that there's some kind of behavioral or socio-emotional, non-cognitive effect from preschool, which is just as important, if not more important, than how they perform on standardized tests. My philosophy for addressing issues concerning family and children is to maximize opportunity for less fortunate families to move into the middle class. I support universal pre-K because it allows parents to work and make more money for the family. Even though universal preschool might not improve writing and reading skills significantly, it can help kids develop emotional and social intelligence, and also developing their character. They're also more likely to finish high school, go to college, commit less crimes, as well as other lifelong benefits mentioned above. My policy will support universal pre-K and ensures high-quality preschool all across America. My policy would also reduce the cost parents have to pay to enroll in preschool so they don't have to feel burdened or pressured by the tuition. So finally, I'll talk about housing affordability. This issue is quite different from the previous two that I discussed. For work requirements and universal pre-K, these different think tanks are weighing on agreeing, disagreeing for whether to provide universal pre-K or not, whether to have work requirements or not. But for housing affordability, these think tanks are all supporting. They all want housing affordability, and they are presenting different ideas on how to approach this problem. In fact, we'll see that they actually have a very similar idea to how to solve this problem. And according to Manhattan Institute, they said that the practice of zoning most residential land exclusively for single-family detached homes is a major cause of affordable housing shortages and long commute times. So they said that this practice of zoning, single-family zoning, is causing housing shortages and causing the house price to go up. And because single-family zoning, they actually discriminate based on race and socioeconomic status. So their idea is to challenge the single-family zoning by building duplexes and triplexes. And Center for American Progress also talked about a similar thing of mandating inclusionary housing at the state level. So also they want less discrimination, more inclusion, mandate inclusionary housing. For Urban Institute, they talked about expanding the voucher program because in the United States, Congress only appropriates enough money for the Housing Choice Voucher Program to cover about 1/5 of the people who qualify it for based on income. So there is still a majority of people that needs help, that are qualified for help but are not receiving help. And so they want to expand the voucher program to help at least most of the American people. They also talked about constructing more affordable apartments, and they also talked about prohibiting discrimination, like source of income discrimination that allows landlord to discriminate against voucher holders. So all these different think tanks, they have a common theme of opposing discrimination, zoning, and so my philosophy for housing affordability is to improve housing affordability and increases life outcomes, improves life outcomes for people with lower income. And my policy will also involve eliminating housing discrimination and these zoning laws that discriminates based on race and socioeconomic status, and allows the poor people to move into more affluent neighborhoods, to increase their opportunities, to improve their life outcomes for them and for their children. I also support this greater voucher coverage because obviously 1/5 is not enough, and there are still a lot of people that needs the help. And at last, I will also want to increase the housing supply because I think partly this problem of increasing housing price is because the supply and demand side, there's way too little supply, too much demand. So by increasing the supply, this might alleviate the problem, at least a bit. And so those are my policies, and yeah, bye-bye.